Hello, Jen here, and I have September's Stretch the Sketch video for you. So you can see the sketch that we're using right there, a Sketches in Time sketch, and I'm going to stretch it into 2 pages. So I'm hopping into my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit for September, which is basically just a mishmash of a couple of older paper pads. So you can see me looking through those right here. And I have a bunch of sticker sheets that I'm trying to get used up and things like that. So not a ton of things that are super matchy and just, different collections, different styles, all that kind of stuff. So I decided to just start by flipping through a couple of the paper pads to see what papers might catch my eye. And my pictures, you can kind of see beside me, they're from a concert that I took my daughter and her friend to. Her friend actually got her the tickets for her birthday, and I wanted I guess there aren't a lot of colors in the pictures, as you can see, because it's a concert. It's a little bit darker. Kaylin wore black and white, so not a ton of colors. There was nothing kind of leading me one way or the other, really, so I just went for this music paper, obviously, because I felt like that kind of matched the concert feel of it. And then the paper with the hearts, the yellow, was just what color the hearts were. And the paper is really kind of distressed and almost grunge looking. So I kind of liked that. I thought it worked good with that concert feel. And then those little hexagons I added in there because I felt like I did need some sort of pop of brighter colors. So the music paper and the heart paper are going to make up the 2 larger pieces of the kind of grid that you see in the sketch, and then this hexagon paper is going to make up that last little chunk of pattern paper that you see on the sketch that's kind of following. I guess in the sketch, it's on the left-hand side. You see sort of a triangle at the top and then another strip of paper. That's what that hexagon paper is going to be. So basically, I'm just taking the 2 papers and I'm going to kind of create the pattern on top of the left-hand side and then on the bottom of the right-hand side. So it kind of gives this diagonal feel to the 2 pages instead of doing, side by side or stretching it straight across. So it was kind of fun because, again, that gives me just a different style. Every time I do a 2-page layout using one of the sketches, I try to figure out a different way to stretch it out. So sometimes I've flipped them on their sides, or I've done the mirror image, all that kind of stuff. So this time it was kind of fun just to do this. I guess in a way it's mirror, but on a diagonal. So I cut the music paper first, and then now I'm going to go ahead and cut the yellow heart paper. And I'm not measuring, really. I'm not trying to make these match perfectly so each triangle is exactly the same size or anything like that. I'm really just going by feel, and I'm kind of plonking these down where I think they look good and then cutting off the excess. So not a super precise way of doing it, but it's what works for me. You could definitely measure them and have all of these little triangles match perfectly, but I think in the end, when you look at these, they're pretty close, but I didn't need them to be exact. So once I got the heart in there, now I'm going to just tuck the hexagons in there. In the original sketch, there's actually a gap between these pieces, so the top pattern and then the extra strip, but I didn't really like that gap. It didn't look good when I was placing my pictures down, and I think it's because my pictures are going to be oriented just a little bit differently than they are in the sketch. So I didn't give myself a gap. I just put that strip of paper right over top of the music note paper. And now I'm just going to rearrange my photos a little bit so they're not the same sizes as the original design, but I think because I'm doing 2 pages and I'm getting way more pictures onto this layout, they didn't have to be the same size. They didn't have to take up as much space, because in the end, that might have actually been too much, if that makes sense. It would have been, two really big photo clusters that your eye was trying to take in. So I think this way it gives your eye a little bit of space between the one page and the next to be able to kind of look at all the details. So I was trying to think what I could do to embellish this, and I knew I had a few little bits and pieces in the sticker sheets and stuff that are in my kit, but I thought it would be fun to cut out a whole bunch of these hexagons. And when I was flipping through my papers, I realized I do have 2 pieces of this paper, so might as well cut one up and use it as embellishment. So that's what I'm doing here. And then that also brings in a bunch of extra colors. So now when I go through my sticker sheets, I have a little bit more that I can try to match to pull from those sticker sheets, because when they aren't matching collections, it's usually either color or some sort of theme, like the music theme. I could pull out things that went with that music theme, or if it's, fall, you can pull out anything that's fall. But having those extra colors there means that I can kind of look for the pinks, and there's almost like a mint and a teal and a red and a yellow, that kind of stuff. So I just think that they added some cute little interest, and I end up using those little clusters as my placements for some embellishments. The sketch doesn't really have a ton of embellishment. It has a few little strips that I think, could represent journaling. I use them as little phrases. And then there's a title, and that's kind of it. A couple little splotches that you could either interpret maybe as splatters or little embellishments or something like that. So it's kind of open to your own interpretation and your own needs at that point, when you don't have a ton of guidance from I was going to say a ton of guidance from the design, but obviously you don't have to follow a sketch perfectly anyways, but just that it kind of lets you play a little bit and experiment with things. So once I get all of these hexagons put down, I'm trying to be as random as possible with them so that each side doesn't look exactly the same and the colors aren't all quite in the same combination. I think it works out pretty good. I didn't want to count and cut out an exact number of each color and make these perfect little embellishment sections. I just wanted it to kind of look like they had been dropped or something like that. So I'll get those all stuck down. It was really fun actually to look back on this concert too, because the girls were just so excited, and it's kind of funny because I just did a Stranger Things layout, and the reason that they love this band so much, or what kind of got them into this band in the first place, is that Finn Wolfhard, this is Finn Wolfhard's band, and so he's one of the characters in Stranger Things, and my daughter had the biggest crush on him. He's Canadian, so she also has that, touch of familiarity, I guess, or that little piece of commonality with him. And yeah, they just fell in love with his music and the entire band. They love the whole band, not just him, but they were so excited to find out that they were coming to Calgary and that they were playing a really small venue and that it was an all ages concert. So that was really cool. So her friend bought tickets and I took them, and yeah, they just had a really fabulous night. Originally I didn't have a ticket and I wasn't actually going to go into the concert, but I was sitting outside. I let them go, and it's one of those things where I was like, I think I'm okay with it. I think I'm close enough to them. And it was a pretty young crowd. There were some grown-ups there. Like Finn Wolfhard is several years older than them, so I knew that there would be some adults there. But there was a pretty young crowd. I think they probably attract, about this age group that my daughter is. And I was okay with letting them go in, and I kind of was hanging out outside the doors. And the manager, actually, of the venue, he saw me and asked if I was okay. And I said, yeah, I'm just kicking back to hang out, and my teenagers are in there at the concert. And he actually let me go in. He brought me in, and he got me all set up at a table and got me a drink, and he gave me his personal number to text if there were any problems. And he said, they haven't really had problems at the concerts, but they were still pretty young, and so why not be inside and at least, be a little bit closer to them in case anything happens. So that was super cool and very nice of him to do that. So I got to enjoy the concert too, which was really fun. And it turned out that one of the opening acts, there was actually two of them, but one of the opening acts is from the town right beside us. And one of the boys who, he's best friends with the band, and he has his own band. He was just starting it at that time, so he was kind of helping out with their band to learn the ropes and figure out how to start his own band. He's a good friend of ours, so that was really cool that we saw them and got to, get a picture. That's up in the top right-hand page is the girls with that opening band and stuff. So it ended up just being a really super cool night, and yeah, it was kind of fun. I'm glad that I got to experience that with Kaylin, and I didn't have to be right next to her. They were up at the front, and they enjoyed the show on their own kind of thing, but I got to hang out and take some pictures and be part of it a little bit too, so that was kind of fun. Anyways, so you can see I took some Tim Holtz phrases. I have that sticker book. I think that he calls it Small Talk, and I have some longer phrases kind of in the general area where on the sketch there's those little strips that I kind of interpreted as where you might put journaling, or in this case my phrases. And then I'm just going through all those little bits of sticker sheets that I have. So I pulled out some puffy stickers, and there's some hearts there from the Heart and Hustle little sticker pack that you could get. That's from Amy Tangerine. This is actually the Heart and Hustle 6x12 sticker sheets, and there's little music notes on them, so I was pulling those out. And you can see how having those little clusters of hexagons kind of gave me a place to stick some embellishment. So I kind of just stuck, not quite color on color. For a little bit of it I did. So for the hearts that I pulled off, I kind of did color on color. And for the puffy, those little square puffy stickers, I did color on color. But then I added a bunch of other colors of music notes, and I added those little record player stickers. And I really love how they look. They're not quite exactly the same. They do look very, very similar, but they're hand drawn. So they have their own little differences to them, and they're different colors, obviously. But I just kind of like the way they lie on the two pages like that. It really brings that center together that lets you know that this is two pages that belong together. So there are other elements to the pages that match, but that is really what connects the two pages, I think. It's almost like your eye draws a line from one record to the next record right across that heart paper. So that was a happy fluke that just as I put it together, I thought, okay, this really works and I like it. I actually really loved putting this whole layout together. It brought back some good memories, and I loved all the little fussy cutting, and I added some enamel dots and some sequins, and I love doing that kind of stuff too. I also added a little bit of journaling down there, right there, that you could see, and yeah, this just came together so quickly, but I love how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, you can leave them for me down below. And please check out the links in the description box as well for everybody else who has stretched the sketch this month. They always do such amazing work. Until next time, happy scrapping. Stay safe. Bye!